We recently pulled some MLS data on Des Plaines to see what the sales trends have been. But what was more interesting is when we actually dug into a very specific area, our neighborhood, around Forest Elementary School, to see how our neighborhood compares to the sales in Des Plaines as a whole.
So we crunched the numbers, pulled them all up for 2025. That's what these numbers represent. 2025, we loaded them into an AI platform because we wanted to create a video to try to make it a little bit easier for the average layperson, if you will,
Right.
to understand the numbers and watch and see how that works.
We are pleased with what came out of our AI platform that we used, and we think it's a little bit easier to understand than us just talking about a whole bunch of numbers. So
We hope you like it too.
If you've been keeping an eye on the Des Plaines real estate market, you've probably felt it, right? That buzz, that feeling of competition with houses just flying off the market. But, feelings are one thing, and hard data is something else entirely. So today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We'll use actual numbers from two different 2025 market reports to see what's really going on. Okay, let's jump in. So this is really the core question we're trying to answer. We all kind of feel like the market is hot, but just how hot is it across the entire city? And maybe more importantly, does that citywide temperature tell the whole story for every single neighborhood? Let's find out. We're going to put these two data sets right next to each other and see what they tell us. All right, first things first, we have to set the stage. We're going to start by looking at the data for the entire city of Des Plaines. Think of this as our baseline. It gives us the big picture context before we zoom in for a closer look. And yep, no surprise here. The big picture data absolutely confirms what a lot of us have been feeling. Inventory has been at historic lows while buyer demand has stayed really high. That combo made Des Plaines in 2025 a classic seller's market. It just means sellers pretty much had the upper hand with lots of buyers competing for not a lot of homes. Let's dig into the numbers that really prove it. Now, this number right here is fascinating, 100.3%. That's the average list to sale price ratio. So what does that actually mean? Well, in simple terms, it means that on average, homes in Des Plaines sold for a little bit more than their asking price. Whenever you see buyers consistently willing to pay over list price, you know for sure that it's a super competitive market. And this number, wow, this really shows you the speed of the market. The average home went from for sale to sold in just 28 days. I mean, anything under a month is considered really fast. It's a clear signal that when a good home, priced right, hits the market, buyers are jumping on it. So the takeaway is clear. The citywide market is fast and it is competitive. But we all know the number one rule in real estate, right? Location, location, location. Citywide averages are great for a headline, but they can definitely hide what's happening on a block-by-block basis. So now, let's switch to our second report and really zoom in on one specific neighborhood, the area around Forest Elementary School. And this brings us right back to our key question. Is buying or selling a home in the Forest School area pretty much the same experience as a Des Plaines average, or is there a totally different story playing out right there? Let's put the data to the test and see. Okay, here it is, the main event. We're about to look at the key numbers from both reports, side by side. This is where the real story of the market, all the little details, really starts to come to life. Just take a look at this. On the left, we've got our citywide averages we just talked about. 100.3% list to sale and 28 days on the market. But now, look over to the right at the Forest School area. Whoa, the average list to sale ratio jumps up to 101.8%, and the average time on the market drops to just 26 days. This neighborhood isn't just following the city's trend, it's actually leading it. This chart really drives the point home. That difference between 103% and 101.8%, it might seem small, but think about what that means in actual dollars. A 1.5% difference on, say, a $400,000 house, that's an extra $6,000 in the seller's pocket. That is a huge financial difference, and it shows you just how much more competitive this one specific part of the market really is. Okay, so we've looked at the data, we've confirmed it's a seller's market, and we now know that some pockets are even hotter than others. But the real question is, what do you do with this information? Let's break down what this all means for you, whether you're thinking about buying or selling this year. So for sellers, the message is pretty clear. This high demand is a major opportunity, especially if you're in a desirable neighborhood like the one we just looked at. The key is pricing your home strategically to really make the most of it. And for buyers, preparation is absolutely everything. In a market moving this fast, you have to be ready, willing, and able. That means having your financing pre-approved and being prepared to act fast when you find the right place. Now, you might be wondering how we got such a specific, detailed look at one particular neighborhood. I can tell you this: that kind of insight doesn't come from your average generic citywide report. This level of detail comes from a hyperlocal data analysis, which digs way deeper. This hyperlocal deep dive was made possible by a special report from Jean Morella. You might know her and her husband Joe from the Spouses Selling Houses team. They've lived and worked in Des Plaines and specifically in the Forest School area for 30 years. That kind of deep local experience is what makes this detailed analysis possible. And that right there is the ultimate lesson from our tale of two markets. The big picture is important for sure, but the real story and the real opportunities are almost always found in those little nuances that only hyperlocal data can show you. So now that you're armed with this deeper understanding of the market, the big question is, what's your next move going to be?
So there you have it. The Forest School area neighborhood, as far as real estate, is outperforming the city of Des Plaines. Our homes are selling faster and for more money. So congratulations to us.
There's a lot of extra money in your pocket if you're a seller. But also, every neighborhood is different. So you have the town as a whole, and then each neighborhood is its own little pocket, microcosm, micro market in and of itself. So if you're wondering how this will affect you as a buyer or as a seller, more importantly, let us know. We'd be happy to sit down with you, go over the numbers, and it's a free, no obligation opportunity for you.
Absolutely. We are Joe and Jean Morella with the Spouses Selling Houses team at Keller Williams. We have been proud residents of Des Plaines for 35 years and very proud residents of the Forest School neighborhood for almost 30 years. So we are your neighbors living and working in the neighborhood that we call home. So if you would like to reach out to us, feel free to do that. We'd be happy to chat with you about how we might be able to find a place for you in the 2026 market if you're considering a move.
Thanks.